Hi, here's Ginny again and Jelly Belly, and we are continuing with The Wild Women of Lake Anna. This chapter is called Another Boat Ride. Bailey was proud that Sugar let her take the tiller while Emily was along for the ride. After they had gathered the water samples and eaten their peanut butter and strawberry jam sandwiches, they headed back into the main part of the lake and turned southeast. "What are those funny-looking buildings?" asked Bailey loudly over the engine noise. "That's the nuclear power plant," said Sugar. "If it weren't for the plant," said Sugar, "which was built in the mid-70s, we wouldn't have this beautiful lake." "How come?" asked Bailey. "They dammed up the North Anna River because the power plant needed to have an impoundment area to provide water to cool the reactor used in making the power," said Sugar. "After the water cools down behind the special diked area called the warm or private side, it is returned to the main lake, which is called the cold or public side. That's the side we're on now. The water temperature can be 15 degrees different between the two sides." Bailey looked perplexed. "There's a visitor center that explains the whole thing," said Sugar. "We'll go there some rainy day. You need to know about the power plant. It makes electricity for thousands of people." "Can I come too?" asked Emily. "Sure, and you can bring Howie and Nanny. They might be interested." "You said that there were gold mines under Lake Anna," said Bailey, peering into the dark water. "Can you see them?" "No, they're long gone, and the lake is more than 80 feet deep in spots. Virginia Electric Power Company bought lots of farms in order to have enough land to create the lake. There used to be roads and trees, hills and buildings where the water is now," said Sugar. "Now, Bailey, when we get near the bridge, any bridge, always slow down," said Sugar. "Then you can go faster again after we go under it and when you're sure another boat isn't crossing the channel." Sugar looked at clouds gathering in the southwest. "We might want to head back soon. I heard rain was forecast, but thought it wouldn't come till evening. Looks like the weatherman was wrong again." Bailey turned the boat around as Sugar had taught her the last time and aimed for the ramp area. As she helped Sugar pull the boat out of the water onto the trailer, Bailey asked if Emily could spend the night. It was the first time she had wanted to have anyone over since she had arrived in Virginia, and she didn't know if Sugar would mind. And the next chapter is called Temptation Strikes. That's chapter 21. "Does your grandmother always sing like that?" asked Emily as she put on her lime green flannel pajamas. Emily's mother whistled, but she had never heard her sing except on special occasions like birthdays. "Once in a while," said Bailey. "It's pretty loud. I think it means she's happy, but I'm not really sure. Sometimes she tries to sing along with songs on the radio. It's really funny because she doesn't know the words." Emily bounced on the bed. "I love your room, and you helped paint it? You're lucky. Mom says I make too much of a mess." "Who are these people?" asked Emily, pointing to the wild women. Bailey explained, then told her about May's special spy hat. "Can I see it?" asked her friend. "I guess it's okay, sure," said Bailey. Within minutes, Bailey pulled down the ladder to the attic and Emily followed. "Won't your grandmother mind?" "Nah, she lets me come up and look around," said Bailey. She really wasn't sure what the limits were. Sugar had never said one way or another. "Here's the hat," said Bailey, putting it on. She walked around like she was a model on a runway. "Let me try," said Emily. She put it on her head and admired herself in the big mirror. "Cool. What else does she have up here?" Stuff. Plus, she has a box of all the letters my mother ever wrote her. Bailey was immediately sorry she had said that. It wasn't any of Emily's business. She knew Emily would be curious and have more questions. "Have you looked at them?" asked her new friend. Bailey shook her head. "The box is taped shut, she said. "See?" "Let's look," said Emily. "After all, they came from your mother. You should be able to read your own mother's letters." The girls hadn't noticed that the singing had stopped. They didn't hear Sugar climbing the drop-down ladder. "Showing off the hat? It's pretty old and very special, so you need to be very careful with it," said Sugar, as her footsteps creaked on the attic floor. Bailey's cheeks were the color of strawberries. She was very relieved that they hadn't tried to peel the tape off the box of letters. Sugar told them that one of the trunks contained photographs and May's scrapbook. "But I haven't found anything specific about spying other than that certificate she received from the government for her service to the country," Sugar said. "Some rainy day we'll go through it if you're interested. Now, let's go back down and have a snack before bed." Bailey wrapped May's hat in soft brown tissue paper and placed it back in the box. "I don't mind you looking around, but there are things up here that are private," said Sugar. "So please just ask if you want to see something. Fair enough?" Bailey said, "Okay." Emily didn't look at either Bailey or her grandmother. She looked in the mirror and fixed the barrettes in her hair. After Mrs. Dover picked up Emily the next morning, Bailey turned on the computer. There was an email from her mother, the first one in more than a week. "Bailey, dearest, Sugar tells me that you are helping a little girl with her reading and that you are doing a great job with your clarinet solo in the concert. I wish I could have been there, but I'm clapping for you right now. Clap, 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 clap. By the way, I took a kayak trip through an estuary which looked much like the mangrove creeks by the Peace River at home and heard what sounded like clapping. I asked my guide and he said it was giant clams the size of dinner plates snapping their shells closed. Maybe they were clapping for you. I hope you're making a ton of new friends. Write me back. Love, Mom." The concert, especially Bailey's solo, went very well, and Sugar was proud of her. As a special treat, they stopped for ice cream on the way home. Her grandmother said, "Ice cream is not on my diet, but we need to celebrate." Bailey knew that nothing was ever on Sugar's diet, but she always ate it anyway. "Lick fast before it melts," said Sugar. Even though the chocolate cone was drippy, Bailey didn't get any on her new blue dress. Sugar wasn't as fortunate. She had a large brown smudge on her white sweater. She laughed about it, though. "I always spill something on this sweater, never fails." Later, Bailey typed a short note to her mother. It was getting harder to think of things to say with Molly so far away. Her mother didn't know what was going on every day, like she did when they talked during supper. Before hitting the send button, she typed, "P.S. Do you know when you're coming home yet?" She hadn't heard from Amber lately either, so she decided to send her a note. "Dear Amber, I got to steer the boat again, and Sugar said later today we're going to take a ride over to Charlottesville so I can see the Blue Ridge Mountains up closer. I rescued my first turtle the other day. I told it that it was bad for being in the road and put it in the bushes, just like Sugar told me. Gotta go. She told me to hurry up. Your friend Bailey." And that's the end of that.